In this video, I'm going to talk about the importance of the first step and how it's essential to your success, courtesy of Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I'm going to talk about the importance of taking that all-important first step. A lot of people get stuck at this point because they're not sure what to do or where to go from here. But if you can just push through and take that first step, everything else will start to fall into place. So I want to tell you about this great story that I had read from Darren Hardy. He's a New York Times bestseller and a success mentor. He received this fantastic letter from Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it goes something like this. One of the scariest moments of my life was after my most recent heart surgery several years ago. I was born with an aortic valve problem, the same one that eventually led to my mother's death. In 1997, I had it replaced with open heart surgery, but they warned me it wouldn't last forever. So as the story goes, the good news is, by the time I needed to replace it again a few years ago, they had invented a non-invasive procedure. And I had a friend who was almost 90 who had the surgery, and he came to meetings with me the next week, and I was set. I went into the hospital ready to go, and then I woke up. So the doctor who was standing over him, he's like, the doctor was standing over me and said, "Arnold, we're very sorry, but something went wrong with the procedure, and we had to do open heart surgery." So I thought it was a cruel joke, the letter goes, but I realized he was dead serious. So here I am in the hospital ICU, and my first thought is, wait a minute, in 3.5 months, I'm supposed to be in Budapest to shoot Terminator 6. How am I going to make this possible? And he goes on and he says, I was pissed off, but my anger wasn't going to get me ready. I needed a plan to start from scratch. But I couldn't even get out of bed yet. The doctors told me people could die from pneumonia and lungs filling with fluid after the procedure. They wanted me to do breathing exercises with this contraption a few days just to be safe. So I asked my nurse to write breathing exercises on my dry erase board by my bed and mark a tally every time I did them. This is the same thing I've always done in the gym for my reps. 5 times a day, I did the exercise, and my nurse or one of my family members made a mark on the board so I can see my progress right in front of me. So after a couple days, they wanted to get me up and move around. Let me tell you, I could barely move, but I had a walker and I shuffled down the hallway. I told one of my friends to write walks on the board. We made tally marks for that, and the walks got longer. I made it up the hallway twice with the walker. Then I made it up the hallway and all the way around the nurse's station with my friends and my family walking with me, cheering me on, like a really screwed up version of the scene from Rocky. It didn't matter how simple it was. Every time we tallied it on the board. Now, the goals were nothing like squatting 500 pounds. It was simple. Get out of bed, use the walker, go down the hall, ditch the walker for a cane, believe in yourself, lean on the friends and the family cheering me on as if I was squatting 500 pounds instead of just walking. There were all steps on the way to recovery. 1 rep is just 1 rep, but that 1 rep done over and over can become hundreds of reps. And done over time, those hundreds of reps add up to a lot of progress. And that's what you need to remember. It's such a great story. It really is, my friends, because it goes on to say, and it worked. Soon I was out of my hospital and walking around my yard. The doctors told me I couldn't exercise yet, but just 3 weeks later, I was working out on my machines in my home gym without any weights, just to go through the motions. I listened to the doctors, but I wanted to get the feeling of exercise without straining my stapled together sternum. And eventually, I was able to add weight, but slowly. I used to be the one who did lat pull downs with 200 pounds. Now I was starting at 20. The next week it was 40. Then it was 100. Eventually, I built back to my old self. Now, as I promised myself 3.5 months later, I was on the set for Terminator 6, and the director said, I can't believe you had open heart surgery 3.5 months ago. So, my friends, we all have moments in life where we must start at the bottom. And I hope you aren't recovering from a major surgery, but maybe you've just fallen off the wagon and stopped working out for a few years. So maybe you never started because you didn't know where to begin. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that you start now. Track your reps, no matter how ridiculously small they seem. Lean on your support network, your friends. Lean on your family. Just take that first step. It is the hardest one. Trust me. Now, that's a fantastic story. Because, my friends, the first step is always the hardest, but it's also the most important. Taking that first step can be daunting, and it seems like an impossible task. But it is key to making meaningful progress in any endeavor. It's a brave decision to take that initial leap, yet it can make all the difference in achieving long-term success. From mastering a new skill to manifesting career aspirations, getting started provides you the confidence necessary to continue your journey. Everyone knows the first step is always the hardest, but is also the most important. So don't give up. Go out and make it happen. Once you take that first step, the rest will become easier. Taking that first step can be really a daunting experience. We can be stuck in indecision and doubt, not knowing where to begin or how to move forward. But the truth is, once you make that initial move, the rest becomes easier. You'll find yourself quickly gaining momentum and discovering more courage and confidence along the way. So don't let apprehension keep you from beginning your journey. Every step taken will create a stronger foundation for the ones that follow. So my friends, until you're just suddenly there, then you're there and at your destination feeling empowered, motivated, inspired by what you have accomplished. Don't be afraid to start small. Every journey begins with a simple step. Everyone has dreams and goals they want to reach, but often these seem too far away or hard to reach. However, the key to success, the key to your success, is to never be afraid of taking that first step. Every journey starts with a single step, so no matter how small that action may seem, it makes a difference in the long run. As the saying goes, slow and steady wins the race. It's never too late to get started and begin the path towards achieving your ambitions. Don't be overwhelmed by large tasks. Start with small steps and watch your determination light up and the way forward. So just getting started is half the battle. So don't give up before you even begin. It's easy to talk yourself out of starting something new before you've even taken that first step. So maybe you don't think you're good enough or doubt whether it will be really worth it. But don't let that excuse or don't let those excuses hold you back. Just getting started is half the battle when it comes to taking on a challenge and making progress. So when you start, no matter how small this task is, you can build your confidence and give yourself that motivation to keep taking one step at a time until you reach that goal. Don't give up before you begin, my friends. Focus on just getting started and watch where it'll take you, my friends. Remember that taking that first step is a brave and a courageous act in itself. Taking that first step is always one of the hardest ones, my goodness, that you're going to ever face. but it's also the bravest and the most courageous act you will ever commit to. It takes courage to break free from the complacency, to break free from the average, to break free from what everybody else is doing and start a new path, a path that may seem uncertain and unfamiliar. So even if you don't know what lies ahead, or even if it feels like your feet are made of lead, remember that just making that decision to take action is the incredibly brave thing to do. Taking that first step, I get it, it can be intimidating, but it's worth it. Each step after that becomes easier, and with every accomplishment, you'll feel more empowered and energized. So don't be afraid. Fight your fear and make a start today. So get out there and take that first step today. You'll be glad you did. Taking the first step may seem like a huge hurdle, but it can be intimidating. But don't let that stop you. Every journey starts with a first step, and taking that first step today is the key. You are already one step closer to reaching your goals by just even listening to this every single morning. Whether it's listening or learning a new skill or setting up a project, just taking that initial action gives you a sense of accomplishment and motivation to keep going. So what's more, by simply getting started, it becomes easier as time passes. So each step after that won't seem so daunting. So take heart and have courage to get out there and take that very first step today. You will not regret it, guaranteed. Now I get it, it can be difficult to take that first step, but remember, that's always the most important one. Once you get started, the rest is just gravy. The rest will become much easier. And don't be afraid to start small. Every journey starts like that. Every journey begins with that little single step, but just getting started is really what you need. So don't give up even before it begins. So taking that first step is a brave and a courageous act in and of itself. So go out there and take it today. You'll be glad you did. So if you ask yourself, if you're saying to yourself, well, how do I do that, Harry? I've hit this plateau, or I don't know what the next step will be. Or if you're looking for some guidance towards reaching that next level of success, or you don't know where to start, reach out to me and see if high performance coaching is for you. I want you to schedule your free 1-hour coaching session with me. The link to do so should be somewhere next to this video, or if you're driving, it's in the show notes. Click that link, get on my calendar today, and let's get you started.